Good afternoon, and good morning to those of you joining us from the West Coast, and welcome to today's webinar, Drive Your Retail Sales Growth, 7 Retail Operational Improvements That Make a Difference. I'm Megan Castillo, Product Marketing Manager here at Zytecom, and joining me is one of our Senior Solution Specialists, Joe Fantozzi.
Hello, everyone.
Today's webinar is twofold. We're going to start out by reviewing some of the operational improvements you can and essentially should be making to help streamline your operations so you can process orders more efficiently. And then we're going to follow up with some tips on how to drive your retail sales growth once you have the bandwidth to fulfill more orders. At Zytecom, we've worked with thousands of small to mid-sized retailers and fulfillment operations, helping them streamline and simplify commerce and grow their business. But it's been a learning experience for both of us. Just as we've taught them how to streamline and automate their business processes, we've learned from them what has been the most effective in helping them grow. So it's with that experience that has enabled us to assemble the 7 Retail Operational Improvements That Make a Difference ebook, which is what today's presentation is based upon. Okay, so a few quick things before we get started. First of all, you are all in listen-only mode. However, this presentation is for you. So we do welcome your questions at any time. There should be a questions panel located to the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free to enter them as they come in. As we're going through, if we have a chance, we'll answer them on the spot. Otherwise, we'll discuss them at the end. And if for some reason we can't get to them, either Joe or I will reach out to you personally after the presentation. Okay, so before we jump into the 7 operational improvements, I'd like to give those of you who aren't familiar with us a little background on Zytecom. Zytecom is a leading provider of inventory and order management solutions for small and mid-sized businesses, particularly those who are selling in a multi-channel sales environment. So our customers are selling in various channels. They may have a brick-and-mortar store, perhaps they have a website, they may be selling through catalogs. They may even be utilizing Amazon or eBay or one of the other many channels available for them to sell on. And we provide our customers with the tools to manage all of these sales channels in one solution, which is key in many ways to streamlining your business and alleviating bottlenecks. We do have 2 product offerings. We have Multi-Channel Order Manager, or some of you know as MOM, and we have Freestyle Commerce.
As you can see, we work with a variety of industries from home furnishings to cheese, like R.C. Bigelow, cigars, automotive parts. We have a number of companies that pretty much run their businesses and utilize a number of the features, whether it be club memberships or auto ship features, loyalty or points rewards, gift cards, gift certificates. So although they're very different from a product standpoint, they all face the same fulfillment issues, and they can benefit from the improvements that we'll be discussing. Because at the end of the day, there's one common goal. Everyone wants to increase sales.
Exactly, Joe. So in today's session, we'll be reviewing improvements that can have an impact regardless of what industry vertical you're working in. As for our agenda today, I'm going to start by going through some operational improvements, followed by some tips on how to drive sales, and then Joe will demonstrate how you can achieve some of them. For demonstration purposes today, Joe's going to be using our newer product, which is Freestyle Commerce, the cloud-based inventory and order management solution designed specifically for Magento e-commerce users. However, if you are using a different e-commerce platform, such as, say CV3, BigCommerce, etc., we do have Multi-Channel Order Manager, or MOM, as an alternative, which can connect to various different e-com platforms. So one of the biggest and most overlooked opportunities to grow your business is through operational efficiencies, specifically when it comes to automating the order fulfillment and inventory processes.
Additionally, Megan, consolidating those processes and managing them in one solution has added benefit. When I've spoken to a lot of prospects over the years, it turns out that many of them have web stores that have a database of products and product names, images, descriptions, prices, unit costs, etc. Some of them also do, like you said, sell on eBay with, again, the same type of information. They may also sell on Amazon. And then they want to ship those products. So then they'll use WorldShip if they ship with UPS or FedEx Ship Manager or Indicia or Stamps.com with United States Postal Service. And they might want to run reports using Microsoft Excel. And then they have to use some type of accounting package like QuickBooks or Peachtree. And before you know it, you have 17 programs running their business, and they have absolutely no integration or synergy whatsoever.
Right, and many of these processes that you have in place today, they may have worked when you first started out. But every once in a while, it's good to take a step back and just take a look at how things are running to see if there's any room for improvement, specifically in terms of automating and consolidating these processes. Because ultimately, you know, the automation portion of it, it frees up your time to focus on the more important aspects of your business, like how to increase your sales. You know, instead of comparing spreadsheets or databases, and, you know, as Joe mentioned, sometimes they have 10, 12, you know, as many as 17 different databases they're comparing just to make sure that they have the correct inventory levels on hand or all the orders are being processed. Now you can spend that time focusing on putting together, you know, something to drive sales, like targeted email blasts, or even looking to add another sales channel like Amazon or eBay. Whatever the case, it's not time wasted calculating inventory levels.
And now is a really important time to get those operational efficiencies in place to prepare for a good year. According to the National Retail Federation, retail sales are predicted to increase 4.1% in 2014. That outpaces the 3.7% increase in 2013. And even higher if you include mobile devices. Behind the optimistic forecast in the NRF's expectation that 2014 will be less volatile than 2013, which brought economic concern from a fiscal cliff scare, a government shutdown, and tax increases. So prepare for a good year by determining where operational improvements can be made to help you respond to sales opportunities.
All right, so how do we prep for this growth predicted by NRF? Let's start the countdown. So number 7 is building brand loyalty. Research confirms that it costs 5 times more for companies to acquire a new customer than it is to retain an existing one. So this means that your existing customer list is actually one of your most valuable assets, but can you actually unleash its value? If you take a minute and look at some of the items I have listed here on the screen, you know, ask yourselves, can you be doing these things? Do you have the means to do so today? Do you, for example, you know, have the visibility into your customer shopping behaviors across all the sales channels that you're working in? For example, you know, do you know what I bought as your customer in your store versus what I might have purchased on your website? Or, you know, another example, do you even track your customer's offline buying history as compared to what he or she buys online? I think we all know that it's a lot more expensive to maintain a brick-and-mortar store than it is to maintain an online website. So as the retailer myself, I may want to know who's buying in store versus online, and perhaps I want to send them, say for example, a 20% off coupon to promote them to make their first purchase online and try and convert them into that channel instead of my brick-and-mortar. But if you don't have the visibility into these types of things, then you can't capitalize on them, and ultimately you're underutilizing your greatest asset, which is your customer list. Instead, you're most likely spending more time and money than you need in order to increase the revenue by focusing all of your efforts on new leads. So basically, the key takeaway from this slide is that you shouldn't only have the answers to these questions, but you should have the answers to more. Your order management system should not only be able to process your orders, but enable you to generate, say for example, targeted lists, or even to develop specific campaigns to offer select classes of your customers. Maybe you want to look at who hasn't ordered in the past 6 months and send an email blast on them. Again, you can offer them a promotional, save 10% off your next order. Nothing huge, but just a little something to push them to check out what you have. Or, you might want to look at what products they've ordered in the past, and maybe you have a complimentary product you want to put in front of them and, see if they'll buy that. All right. Number 6, integrated shipping, labeling, and rates. As I had mentioned earlier, as your business starts to grow, so do the bottlenecks in your processes. And these bottlenecks can appear for any reason. Maybe it's just simply that you're starting to process more orders on a daily basis and you're getting overwhelmed. Maybe it's that you've added another sales channel like Amazon or eBay, and now you're not really sure how to handle, because you have all these different databases in place and you can't really handle all those orders coming in or those different channels. Or perhaps you've tried a new fulfillment model like drop shipping, which can sometimes be difficult to manage because you're not actually managing the inventory yourself. You're relying on a third party to manage that inventory and fulfill those orders for you. Whatever the reason may be, as the complexity of your operations increases, so do the issues that slow everything down. One way to overcome this is through fully integrated shipping. If everything's handled in one system, your order details as they're captured also include the customer ship-to address. If it's handled in one system, you can verify that address, and not only that, easily translate it to a shipping label. This means you don't have to worry about retyping the information and perhaps risking, manual data entries, which we see happen all the time. Ultimately, that could lead to delays in the shipping, and you as the retailer could be penalized by your shipping carrier for having a wrong address. In the end, both you and your customers will be much happier because the shipping process will go much more smoothly if it's integrated, resulting in faster shipment times. So it's a win-win situation. Number 5, make customer service improvements. So the web is a beautiful thing in terms of expanding your reach and getting your name out there. And if you're leveraging social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatnot, you can really spread the word like wildfire about your business. However, bear in mind, it can also backfire on you if you're not careful. It only takes one poor customer experience to produce countless lost customers due to a negative review online. On the flip side, however, positive reviews can help bolster your sales. So for retail, leveraging the customer service can be a real differentiator. According to Consumer Reports, 64% of survey respondents have walked out of the stores due to poor assistance, and 67% have actually hung up on a call before the problems have been addressed. I don't know about you, but I've had issues. Sometimes you call in and you're the 10th caller in the queue and it takes forever, or you get on and you get someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about and all you do is leave frustrated. It's bad enough I had a question, I needed to reach out, now I'm even more frustrated because you didn't have the answer. So to avoid these types of issues and more, you want to make sure that you can provide the best customer service possible, and the easiest way to do this is to equip your customer service reps with the tools to do so. With a good order management system in place, your customer service reps will have access to your customers' orders across all channels. So if a customer, for example, say I was your customer, and Joe, you're my customer service rep. If I was to call in, Joe would be able to see that, not only did I order, say, a blue V-neck tee for myself from the company website, but I also ordered the Boys Small Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from the company's eBay store for my son. And not only would he be able to see that and be able to provide the shipping and tracking information on both, but he'd see everything else I've ordered in the past as well. So knowing that history, maybe he's got me on the phone, or he can say, hey Megan, I see that you've ordered product X in the past, and hey, guess what? Just by coincidence, we happen to be offering the complimentary product that we have for that, and it happens to be on sale. Could I possibly interest you in that? Hey, you never know. He might boost the sales and get another sale from me. Regardless, it's good that he has that full history so that he has something to talk to me about. The main takeaway from this slide is that you want to be able to equip your team with the tools to not only provide the information that I'm seeking on the spot, but also with some customer background, so they have something to engage with their customer on and create that relationship. Like, for example, Joe knowing what product I brought in the past. Maybe he wants to strike up a conversation with me over it, and that can really help to build that relationship with me while I'm on the phone. And, if you can remember from number 7 in the countdown, because it costs 5 times as much to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an existing one, building that relationship when he has that opportunity with me on the phone is really essential. Okay, number 4, gain visibility and control of inventory across channels. This is an absolute must, especially when you're working in a multi-channel sales environment. The last thing you need is to either have too much inventory on hand with too few orders coming in, because that will totally destroy your margins, or the exact opposite and have not enough on hand and end up with, whether it's back orders, perhaps the customer would cancel an order and go search somewhere else online because, chances are you're not the only one selling that product, so they might go elsewhere. And, that's the worst thing yet, is that you lose a customer. So managing inventory is a real balancing act, and it's a delicate one at that, and it's a major issue for all businesses, no matter what. For some of you, it's harder than others. Some of you offer continuity programs. Like, say, for example, we have a couple customers ourselves that offer like a fruit of the month club. This is not only delicate because you have to worry about having enough stock on hand, but now, freshness becomes a factor. So there's a lot of different things that come into play with that. And then there's others of you who sell kitted items, meaning that it's made up of multiple, say you have a gift basket and it's made up of a wine and a cheese and a cracker and a this and a that. You have to make sure that you have all of those items on hand to be able to assemble that basket when I, as the customer, order it. And you don't know what that's going to be. And in many cases, the same wine might be used for 3 or 4 different options that you offer on the website. So it can become really tricky to manage. And then others of you are drop shipping. We mentioned this earlier before, where drop shipping, you're not actually keeping that stock in hand on yourself, so you have to rely on a third party to fulfill those, and you might not always have the best visibility into what they actually have on hand, so you can take an order and come to find out once you submit it to them that they don't have it. So it's a really tough thing, managing inventory. But in order to have the most accurate view of your inventory levels, you need to be able to track the inventory across all of your channels. So again, when I'm speaking of all your sales channels, this could be your e-commerce store or stores. Some of you have multiple. It could be your catalog fulfillment business. Maybe you have an off-site fulfillment center, like a drop shipper. Or some of you might be using shopping channels like Amazon or eBay or one of the many others available. Regardless, it's a lot easier to manage if you can see and have visibility of all of those sales channels in one solution. Not only will you, ensure that you have the stock to fulfill your orders, but it also has the ability to easily run reports to determine, for example, which products are selling, what periods may require more inventory. Maybe you have some peak selling periods. Maybe it's a holiday. Maybe it's just a change of the season. Some of you have seasonal businesses. But you want to have view into that so that hey, next month is going to be a peak selling period. It's historically been a peak time for us. Let's make sure we stock up on our inventory. And ultimately, it's just giving you that big picture of how your business is performing across all of your channels, so you can quickly, at a glance, log into the system and be able to see how each one of those is performing without having to weed through various systems or spreadsheets or however it is that you're managing it now. Okay. So now that we've touched on some ways on how to streamline your processes and run your businesses more efficiently, let's get into some ways on how you can look to drive more sales once you've gotten that back office in order and you have the bandwidth to fulfill more orders. So let's start with number 3, using multiple channels to grow your business faster. Now, some of you may be already selling in some additional channels, but let me tell you, there's always more. In today's environment, even the smallest of retailers can reach a market of millions. Again, that's the beauty of the web and the way things are today. But are you actually taking advantage of all these many sales channels available to expand your reach and grow your business as fast as possible? And if you are you managing them in the most efficient manner? That's the real question. This goes back to the previous items we had discussed about getting your back office operations in order. Because adding a new sales channel, sure, it can grow your business, but it can also bring a lot of headaches and bottlenecks if not managed properly. So having that ability to manage all of your sales channels, everything from your inventory, your orders, your customers, etc., associated in a single workflow, will help you to avoid these bottlenecks. Also, it makes life easier to expand into these different verticals and these different sales channels, and gives you the ability to expand your workflow without having to expand your workforce or your employees. Number 2, apply an omnichannel retailing strategy. So some of you who are on the call with us today actually joined Joe and I for a previous webinar we did called Demystifying Omnichannel Retailing, where we discussed exactly what omnichannel retailing means and how to achieve it. For those of you who didn't, I do invite you to feel free to check it out on our website. We do have it under our resources on the on-demand webinars. You know, there's a lot of valuable information, I think, there that everyone can learn from. So I do invite you to check that out. But getting back to this slide, omnichannel refers to the experience your customer has when shopping in one or more of your sales channels. And this is especially important when you do branch out into these other channels. With an omnichannel approach, you are ensuring that your customers have a consistent and positive experience with every sales touch point, with an emphasis on the importance between cross-channel promotion. And by cross-channel promotion, what I mean is, you know, a lot of times you see, you could be on a website and they'll have the ship to store. You know, you order online, you can ship to store so that you save on the shipping fees, or, you know, pick up in store, whatever the case may be. And that's considered cross-channel promotion. But, you know, what else does this mean? So basically, you want your customer to have as close to the same experience as possible when shopping in any one of your stores. Now, obviously, the online experience isn't going to be exactly the same as the in-store experience, because the customer is going to lack that touch and feel effect. You know, they're not going to be able to pick up the product, look at it, check, you know, maybe you have bad pictures on your website, you can't really tell the colors or the details, so you're going to lack that effect when you're ordering online versus actually seeing the product in person. However, you can still provide a consistent level of service, product availability, and pricing, and your customers do and will expect this. I have actually shared some experiences that I've had over the holidays with a company where I was looking to purchase an item online, but it happened to be one of those items where I wanted to actually see it in person just to ensure it was exactly as it was pictured. Luckily enough, I did have a store near me, and I went there to check it out. Well, they had the item in store, but it wasn't online, like it wasn't on sale as it was online, and they weren't willing to honor that sales price. So I actually did walk out of the store, I went home, and I ordered it online. And that's an example of a poor omnichannel experience. Had they really wanted to retain that omnichannel experience, the sales girl would have said, you know what, hey, I will honor that price. And for this particular item, it was a 20% off a pretty pricey item, so it was a significant discount that I was looking to get. You know, they were fortunate enough that they didn't lose me as a customer, but I'll tell you, I definitely wasn't the happiest of customers because I had actually gone out of my way to go to the store. I fought the holiday traffic, which we all know isn't fun, and then I come to find out that they won't even honor the price. So my main takeaway from that was that with this particular store, I know in the future that I'm going to actually check out both in the store and online and, you know, do my own little price comparison. But basically, you know, the moral of the story is that price of all things is the easiest to be consistent on, and essentially it should be. You know, unless, of course, it happens to be, you know, if you have a specific site, like some of you use eBay, for example, to unload products that you're either discontinuing or maybe not selling as well as others, you know, that I understand. But in my particular example, this happened to be the company's corporate website, so I would have expected, you know, that they definitely would have honored it, so I was really disappointed when they didn't. Okay, and finally, number 1, integrate new systems as your business grows. The top business issue that is preventing growth is also the easiest to fix. Many of you are still moving data manually across different systems, and that lends itself to countless disconnects in your business, including visibility into your customers. And as I mentioned earlier, when you first started out and you were first starting to grow, some of these processes may have worked, and they may have worked well. But some of you are now finding yourself in a position where you're so overwhelmed by your success that you're almost being defeated in a way. So you need to find a way to really streamline your business processes so you're not up until 11 o'clock on a Saturday night packing and shipping an item when you could be out celebrating your success. This is where a lot of these manual processes come into play and can really impede upon your success. So, for example, if you are still doing some of these manual processes, retyping the order information, again, it leads invariably to errors, but it's also very time-consuming. Some of you are still, you have an order come in, you got to then type it into your inventory management system, whatever that may be, and that could be something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet that you're managing. And surprisingly enough, we find a lot of businesses that are still doing that, and they've got all these numerous spreadsheets, and they're like, get me out of this spreadsheet horror, because it's too much to manage. And sometimes they have to then, from there, then log into their accounting system and make updates there. And so it becomes a very time-consuming process. There's no way that you can process a ton of orders in this way, at least not without either adding a ton of employees to do so, or like I mentioned, spending your Saturday evenings processing the orders, which isn't exactly fun. And not only that, it also cuts into your profits. So by automating the processes, you can hopefully sit back and relax, just like our little guy here on the screen, and let your order management system do most of the work for you. This will allow you to grow your business and not put a cap on how many orders you can process a day, so you can take your business and your profits to the next level. So what options do we have for putting these operational efficiencies in place? Well, at Dynacomp, we have 2 options. We have Multi-Channel Order Manager, which is what most people refer to as MOM, and that's our on-premise solution. And then we have Freestyle Commerce, or simply Freestyle, which is our cloud-based solution. As I mentioned, we are the leading provider of integrated inventory, order, and customer management software built for e-commerce, multi-channel, and distribution businesses. And we enable these businesses to achieve these efficiencies. And all of those 7 efficiencies we discussed today can be achieved using our solutions. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Joe right now, who's been sitting so ever patiently. And he's going to go through some of these operational efficiencies we discussed. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Joe's going to be using our new cloud-based solution, Freestyle Commerce.
Thank you, Megan. I am going to highlight some of the areas Megan mentioned. However, for a full demo of either product, please check out our website where you can sign up for either one of our weekly demonstrations. Wednesdays, I personally host the Multi-Channel Order Manager, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we have one on Thursday that covers Freestyle at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So, or if you prefer, I'd be happy to arrange a one-on-one demo if those dates and times do not work for you. Now, the screen that we're looking at right now happens to be the main screen within Freestyle. Once you log in, you're able to see a complete dashboard of all of your specific sales. You can see the sales by the channel. You could see the physical location where the majority of your sales are, the different sales trends. Now, you can control the dashboard, which is really nice because a manager, or let's say even a CEO, an executive, has the ability to go in and maybe he'll have full control. In this scenario, I am set up as owner-operator or as an administrator where I can view everything. The sales, I could view different operational things, the fulfillment status, product low levels, any order exceptions. If I set rules that say I want to hold orders that come from an international address, because I just want to make sure that it's not a fraudulent order. You can also review your top performing products, your least performing products, and there's a number of ways that you can export this data, most typically into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can view all that information really easily and modify these particular reports and save them if you wish, so that you could come back next week or later on next month and you're able to view all that information to compare the sales, and it's all based on, again, daily tasks and different user roles and profiles. Now, one of the most important things is the inventory management, which Megan had mentioned earlier. And we have here a list of different inventory items. I'll just click on my baseball bat for a moment here. And one of the biggest things that I've experienced customers and even prospects who've complained about as they enhanced or grew their business going into different channels is managing which channel that these items are going to be ultimately sold on. If you sell, let's say, you have 100 units of this particular baseball bat in stock, you know that Amazon and eBay take a percentage of your sales, of the ultimate sale price. So maybe you want to make that price a little bit larger. I know I don't have the price different here, but the point of this is that you can control the name of the product itself, the description, and it doesn't matter which channel it's coming from. You're able to have it automatically configured to bring the order details in along with the customer's information and be able to process those orders. And one of those ways is by going into the Orders tab. Now, within Freestyle here, I have already a couple orders here I've already set up for you. And for the smaller businesses, they tend to like to process the orders individually. Now, in that case, you can go into a particular order and you can print out the pick ticket, the packing slip, and the shipping label. I'm not going to go through the whole process now with with each of you. We can do that again on a one-on-one. Some people, they like to combine the picking and packing process where they'll be able to print out one sheet and then print out the box label. So they'll pick off the packing slip. And another nice thing that you can do is, if you prefer, if you do high volume orders, like couple 50 orders, 100, 1,000 orders, you can go into the actual shipments. It'll show you the same type of details, but you can highlight all the orders at once, and then you can go ahead and batch process these. Now, one of the things that I really like about Freestyle is while you're in the orders, it shows you this here, the advanced search. Now, I may only want to process orders by a particular sales channel. So this gives me the option, and here I have a Magento Enterprise store, a Magento Community store, and an Amazon store. I can have multiple stores, multiple Enterprise, multiple Magento Community stores, multiple Amazon stores, all coming into Freestyle for my batch. And I can process those orders very, very easily with just a few simple clicks. And that is something that makes it very powerful, because now you're batch processing and getting those shipping labels out and making the, ultimately the system can send out an order or shipping confirmation notice to your customer, which will relieve some of those phone calls that come in. Hey, so-and-so, I placed my order on Tuesday and I haven't received it. Do you have my tracking number? They'll be able to get that information quickly, and as soon as that order is processed, it goes out the door or through your email program. Another really cool feature is that we also do integrate directly with QuickBooks as an accounting package. So I'm not going to go through posting over the AP and the AR data, but once you initially configure Freestyle, there's an option here where you can click on QuickBooks, and we'll walk you through, as part of the setup and implementation process, on linking QuickBooks to Freestyle for you. So that's a couple of the neat things that you can do here. The customer data, all of the inventory information would be set up in one place, and you have the ability to synchronize any details, notes associated with a customer if they have a particular question, and it's all tied to the order management system itself. If you wanted to even attach files to a customer record, you can do that. And we also integrate with other partners. If you use different programs like ShipWorks, that's available. If you prefer to ship right out of Freestyle, you can do that as well. We do have direct integration there, and it's growing. If you wanted to, like I said, see a live mom presentation, I'll be glad to schedule a one-on-one with you. And there's a lot of really great marketing resources that are built in where, like Megan had mentioned, you can say, show me a list of all customers who purchased, let's say, a BlackBerry. Show me all customers who did not buy the BlackBerry car charger. And now I want to target that group. I say, okay, hey, I know you bought the BlackBerry, but you didn't buy the charger. And you can send that as an email right out of, let's say, Mom, or you can export that data and you can put it into your Constant Contact or whatever other email marketing program that you're using. So it makes things really, really easy. Now, with that being said, I'll just jump into how you can reach us and contact us here. We do have quite a few questions.
Yeah, actually, Joe, I'm going to stop there for a second. We do have a couple questions that came that I want to address. Most of your questions, it looks like we've covered as we've gone through the presentation, but we do have a couple other ones that came through. The first one is actually twofold. Can you have a Magento store and work with Mom? The answer is yes. Yes. Freestyle Commerce was designed specifically for Magento. However, you can use Mom with Magento as well. And the second part of that question was, can you have multiple Magento stores? And again, that answer is yes. I don't believe that there is any kind of limit on the number of sales channels that you can add in. We can manage all of them together.
Correct, yes. And the inventory can be all pulled from the same back end. You can create different bin locations if you prefer. And we also support multiple warehouses. So if you had an East Coast and a West Coast warehouse, the logic in Freestyle, for instance, will allow for you to have an order come in, and it will automatically look at the geographic location, and it'll try to process that particular order from that location first. If for some reason the item or partial back order, part of the item is on back order, it will fulfill it from the, let's say, the East Coast warehouse. Or you can override that, and if you allow that particular item to be drop shipped, then you're able to send the entire order, the completed line item, from the drop shipper.
And this question I'm going to throw to my Senior Solution Specialist, Joe, over here. The question is, what version of Magento Solutions do you work with?
The two right now that we support are the Community Edition and the Full Enterprise Edition. I just came back from the Magento Imagine conference that was in Las Vegas a week and a half ago, and they are releasing a new Magento version for 2015, which we will also support. The only version of Magento that we currently do not support is the Magento Go. They just don't allow any additional extensions to be installed, and Freestyle, in order to get that direct bi-directional seamless live integration, will only be able to be installed in Enterprise or Community.
Okay. And I had one other here about ShipWorks, which, Joe, you actually briefly mentioned, just asking if we do integrate with ShipWorks, and the answer is yes, we do integrate with ShipWorks.
Yeah, most of the Freestyle customers that do want to ship international, they like to use ShipWorks as the shipping program. It also works really well if you wanted to do comparative shipping pricing, like UPS compared to FedEx and so on, to get the lowest possible rates, especially if you offer like flat rate shipping on your website. But those are some of the ways that we integrate directly with ShipWorks. So you can reach us here on our 800 number, 1-800-858-3666. You can email us directly at sales@Didacomp.com. You can visit our website, Didacomp.com, and you'll see that there is the product demonstration page underneath the resource section. So is there anything else, Megan, that you wanted to add?
No, so that actually wraps up our presentation for today. I hope you all found it informative. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, today's presentation was based off the ebook we put together, so I'll go ahead and actually send you all a copy of that following this presentation. It covers basically what we've reviewed today, but in a little greater detail. Again, as far as next steps go, like Joe said, if you are interested in seeing a demo, or if you simply would just want to reach out and chat about your business and see if there happens to be any room for improvement, feel free to either, any of those ways up there. You can either call us on the 800 number, you can email us at thesales@didacomp.com, or again, under the resources tab, there is a product demonstrations page where you can register for one of our weekly demos. As Joe had mentioned, we do the mom demo every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we also do the freestyle demo every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And again, as always, if for some reason those times don't work for you, we are more than happy to schedule a one-on-one for you. So thank you again on behalf of Joe and myself, and for joining us today. Like I said, I hope you found it informative, and I hope to speak with you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.